All right. So this is the 4M Masterclass. I have some goodies for you, and I'm really going to walk you through my method of how I do my marketing, how I do my sales, and how I really stay in alignment with selling in my business, promoting myself, and how I was able to do this really as an introvert, able to do this as somebody who was fearful of sales at some point. So if this is you, if you resonate with that, or if you're just like, I just want more sales, I want a system, I want to figure out like how to make this work for me, you will get that in this class. And then I also have like a little bonus training where I'm going to talk about how I implemented my own strategy called the hustler and the vibe into my business to really make it something that was in alignment for me and easy for me and felt really good. So for me, what I tell all my clients is it has to feel good. This is why I'm against any kind of cookie cutter programs or, you've got to follow this, specific formula, or you got to say this specific script, because each one of us is different. Each one of us has different strengths. Each one of us has different assets. Each one of us has different bandwidth. So we really have to take that into consideration. And it's why I love working with my clients really on a custom basis. The majority of the work that I do, whether it's in a group program, private, is custom. Like, where are you at? What are you working with? What do you like? What are your strengths? What is the vision for your business? So because each one of ours is different, it just doesn't make sense to like try to put yourself in a box. So even though I'm giving you a quote unquote system, you'll see how you can plug your own things into the system, into this formula to really make it work for you and really make it easy. So what I also want to do with this masterclass is just make it so that I'm like pulling back the curtains on what actually needs to happen in your business. One of the things I see so much with entrepreneurs is that they're just working on the wrong things. They're spending a lot of time, too much time, on things that aren't actually going to move them forward, things that aren't actually money-making activities, things that aren't actually going to bring them clients. And then they wonder why they're on this hamster wheel. They wonder why they're working so hard, but they have no clients and there's no money in the bank at the end of the month. So I'm going to dive into the masterclass now. Those of you who are joining me live, feel free to put questions in the chat. If you are watching the replay, you can also do the same, and I will make sure that I answer any questions that you have. So let's go ahead and switch over to the slides and get this party started. So first of all, this awesome, amazing image that I have here is actually me. It's actually me. I did this on AI. So those of you that are interested in learning how to utilize and leverage AI in your own business, definitely reach out to me. I have a couple packages where you can really figure out how to do all of that yourself. And, it's, totally off topic from what we're talking about today, but I really do feel like it's the wave, and if you're not jumping on the wave, you're definitely going to be left ashore while everybody else is reaping the benefits and leveraging the tools and the updated technology that we now have. So this kind of goes back to what I talk about all the time as well, which is like, if you're marketing the way you were marketing when you first started your business, in, if you're marketing how you were marketing in 2016, 2017, 2018, it's not working today. Even how people were marketing pre-COVID, even how people were marketing last year isn't working today, because there's so many advancements. There's so many different things that you have to do to stay ahead of the curve. So that way you don't blend in and you really stand out and you bring something to the table. The barrier to entry for someone to come online and start teaching business or teaching health or teaching about relationships is zero. Like, it doesn't even matter. You don't even need to have qualifications. So how are you going to distinguish yourself with your experience, with the different things that you have? So let's dive into the class today, the 4M marketing method. All right. So we want to make sure that we are always selling in alignment. This is one of the key factors to how I grew my business. And I went from 500K, or I'm sorry, from 5,000 months to 50,000 months, how I went from $45,000 one year to 500K the next year, and just have continued to grow from there. Now, the trajectory of like my first income leap I haven't had an income leap quite that big since then, but it's been steady. It's been sustainable. And this is another thing that I really want you to know as well. Is like sometimes it does take a little bit longer, and that's okay. I would rather have you have a sustainable business that is consistent, that feels good, that doesn't lead to burnout, and that really is bringing you fulfillment in your life, that bringing that steady income, than being a flash in the pan, making a lot of money and then completely burning, completely crashing. Your business goes out of business in a couple of years. So, I'm about to head into my 11th year. So, I definitely want to give myself a pat on the back for that, because most people don't make it past year 2, let alone year 5, let alone year 10. So, the biggest shifts for me was being in alignment. It was actually clarity and alignment. So for those of you who sell the intangible, it is something, even though it's like not physical and I can't grab it and I can't touch it, it doesn't mean that it's not effective. It doesn't mean that it won't sell, because these are the things that actually move your business forward. These are the things that will create those quantum leaps and actually have you just creating a business that feels good. So in alignment always, and making sure that you have clarity on the things that you're selling, how you're selling them. And, to be honest, like the best way to do this is through mentorship. The best way to do this is to learn from someone who has already done it, so that you don't have to make the same mistakes, and they can really give you the shortcut to success. So let's talk about the 4 M's. This is the basis of the 4M marketing method. So the first one is your muse, and I'm going to actually go through each one of these separately as well. The first is your muse. So emulating your online muse. I'm going to explain a little bit more about what that is. The medium, your unique marketing plan based on your unique strengths, skills, and style. And then your method is your sales system. How are you actually selling? The moment is your timeline for promotions, launches, and sales. So let's dive into what each one of these means, and where, pay attention to where you may be out of alignment here. Pay attention to where, you may be missing something within each of these 4 pillars. Okay, so we're going to talk about the muse. So I love this. I've seen other people talk about the muse online, but I don't believe that they quite talk about it the way that I do, or mean it the way that I do. So for me, the muse is someone that you really admire online, someone who you love the way they show up. You love their presentation. You love, the cohesiveness of their brands. You love, just the fluidity. You love how they are, just presenting themselves. Now, what I want you to know about the muse is the muse needs to be somebody that's not in your industry. Okay, so if you are a coach, if you are, a health person, if you are a healer, do not make your muse someone that do not make your muse like the guru coach or the popular coach that's out there. That's not what I'm talking about, because when we do that, then it's a slippery slope. Then we think that we need to hire that person in order to emulate their results. We start to compare ourselves to a journey that is not even like ours. And then we're just kind of like, creating this weird dynamic within the industry. So for me, my muse is always someone that's completely outside of my industry. So for me, this could be, just like online personalities, whether they are comedians, they could be actors, they could be models, potentially, recording artists, musicians, I already said comedians, just people that are doing things that are outside of what you do. So an example is Queen Herbie. I think a lot of you may know who she is. If not, go look her up on Instagram. And she's just a character. She is fun. She's spunky. She's bold. She's herself. And the way that she shows up online is really magnetic. The way that she shows up online is like, wow, I want to be in the room with her. I want to hang out with this person, right? And so I pull inspiration from her. And there's a couple other people that I follow online too. Again, not other coaches. These are people that I'm just drawing inspiration from because I love how they show up. I love their fire. I love their energy, their tenacity, their audacity. Like, find someone that's like that. And you probably already have this person in your feed. It's probably somebody that you already follow. You probably like all of their stuff. You probably save all of their stuff. And it's because you are magnetized to that person because of the way that they show up. And really start to think about, how can I show up more like this person. And not that you're comparing yourself to that person or wanting to be like that person, but showing up in that type of energy, showing up with that type of audacity, showing up with that type of fire that they have. And I guarantee you it would completely change how you show up, because right now you may be in this like weird cycle of just going through the motions and just doing what you know to do, doing what feels normal, doing what feels comfortable. But when you really push yourself to the limits and really feel like, oh, wow, like this person is showing up like 100 times more than I am, right? And not to say that you have to post as many, like, let's say your muse was like Alex Hermosi, right? Like you're obviously not going to be posting as much as he is and doing as much as he is and posting 100 reels a month, because they're spending a lot of money to be able to do that. However, you can just say, okay, there's a piece of that, or there's a piece of how he shows up, or there's a piece of how he teaches that I really like, that I want to kind of show up as that as well. So again, it's not about comparing yourself or trying to be like that person, but it's like, where can you get inspiration from their energy and how they're showing up online? It's really important for us to show up differently. It's really important for us to show all of ourselves in full self-expression, because that is what's going to differentiate you from everybody else that's doing what you do. So that is the muse. Again, those of you that are with me live or watching the replay would love to have you comment. What is your muse? Who is your muse? Who is that person that you're just like, I want to show up like that person? All right. So next we're going to talk about the medium. So the medium is your marketing, how you market. There's multiple different ways to do it. Every way works. So just going back to what I was saying with the cookie cutter thing and, just not wanting to put people in a box, like there's a million different ways for you to market yourself. There's, dozens of different platforms that you can market yourself on. And you really have to find the way that works for you, because like I said, they all work. Every single method works. Every single platform works. It's just a matter of where are you putting your time, your energy, and your focus. Wherever you're putting the most time, energy, and focus, that's what's going to thrive. That is what's going to create that shift in you. That is what's going to create those conversions, is when you are really focused on that. So instead of trying to be everywhere, where do you want to shine? Where do you want to be like your main thing, right? Like, so for example, my main thing was always Facebook. Been on Facebook for a really long time, but lately Facebook isn't in alignment with me. Like it's just not a vibe for me anymore. So I'm shifting over to TikTok. I really like TikTok. I feel like it's a place where I can express myself. I feel like it's a place where someone can binge my videos and get a really, really good idea about who I am, what I do, and if they want to hire me. So, I've always had email marketing as my thing as well. So I, have combined those two things. So it's like, go where it's easy, go where there's flow, go where you like the vibe. And again, it doesn't matter. One person could be super successful on Instagram and be making, tens of thousands of dollars a month on Instagram. And another person makes zero on Instagram, but they're making a ton of money with Facebook groups or something. So you want to think about, how do I want to market? When I think about the style of marketing, I would say there's a couple different styles, right? There's obviously lifestyle marketing. So there's people who will just flash what they have, or, show their cars and their boats and their houses and their clothes and all of the things that they have. That's lifestyle marketing, right? Them living their life that draws people in with hope. It's not my favorite method of marketing, because I just feel like it's not realistic for the majority of people, and people are basically just being sold a dream. But that's just my opinion. There is income marketing, another one that I'm not super, liking, because I just feel like if that's all you have, like it's okay to talk about money, it's okay to have celebrations, but if the only thing you have in your marketing toolbox is how much money you make, that gets old, that gets boring, and it really is like, how sustainable is that? How long is that really going to last? So some people use income marketing, some people use their expertise as their marketing, their history, right? So their expert status, how long have you been in business? I've worked with X amount of people. I have, raised X amount of dollars in capital. So they're actually using their expertise and what they know and their skills for marketing. Some people like to do educational marketing, right? So their posts and the way that they go about like their marketing is really more of like teaching and telling you what to do and telling you how to create something specific, or giving you formulas, or giving you tips, or giving you lists of things. So there's multiple different ways to market. You just want to say, okay, which one is like, where am I going to lead? What feels really good for me? This could also be based too on just like your personality. It can be based on your human design. Like you might have different things in there, but whatever you normally gravitate to, like that's where I would, and just be really focused. Like, just, you may be doing things like I was saying before, like going through the motions, but actually taking a stop, taking a pause and looking, what actually works for me? What feels the best when I'm creating content? What kind of content do I like to put out there, right? And not trying to be like anybody else. So maybe you like to post educational content, or you have a lot of experience in what you're doing and you talk about your experience a lot. And you see the next coach who's making all this money because they're flashing their lifestyle, or they're talking about how much money they make. It does not mean that you have to do that, because that's going to be out of alignment with you. So again, how you market is really a personal thing. It's based on your skills. It's based on, what's a natural flow for you. It's based on your experience. So how you market and the platforms are all very unique to you. The style is also very unique to you. Personality, your brand, your voice. So the marketing has to be in alignment. Just like I say here, you're always selling in alignment, right? So how can you sell in alignment if you're not marketing in alignment? Marketing is what leads to the sales, right? And I actually just heard someone say on a webinar yesterday that if your marketing is really good, you don't even have to do sales, because the marketing does all the heavy lifting. But when you're marketing out of alignment, or you're trying to just do something that you see someone else doing, but it doesn't feel right and it doesn't flow for you, then it's going to feel really hard. This is, again, why I just don't like these cookie cutter things that are like, this is the only way to do it. No, it's not. I could be on any platform. I could have any marketing style. As long as it's in alignment, as long as it feels good, as long as I can be consistent with it, then I'm going to attract my audience. Your personality, something that does need to shine through your brand. I do believe that it's more important now than ever to have a cohesive brand online for people to understand who you are at just first glance, right? And just like your brand is really like your vibe, right? Like it's like your vibe. And we have to kind of think of it like that, like not necessarily like you have to be the popular person. Like I was never popular in high school, but it's like, do people want to hang out with you? Do people like your vibe? Do people like what you're saying? Do they like the way that you're saying it? Does it feel genuine, right? Does it feel authentic? These are the things that if you're out of alignment, it's going to feel funny. It's going to feel off. People are going to feel like you have some sort of funky energy, and they're not going to want to be around it. So your medium is how you market, what platforms you market on, your style of marketing, plus your personality, your brand, and your voice tone. When we talk about voice tone, that is more like, how do you come across? So are you sassy? Are you bold? Do you cuss like a sailor? Are you very professional? Are you buttoned up? So each one of us also just has our own voice as well, in connection with our brand. So definitely want to make sure that these things are in alignment for you, and really taking a look at like, where might I not be in alignment here? And that could be why, if marketing feels difficult for you, that's why. All right, so next we're going to the method. So the method is all about how are you selling? So once your marketing is really used to create awareness, your marketing is used to attract potential clients, but we also actually have to sell. We also have to let people know how they can work with us. We have to let people, have conversations. We have to create relationships with people. That's really where the sales comes in, right? Because most people, unless you have like an amazing offer that just sells itself, most people are going to want to have some sort of relationship with you, or feel some sort of connection to you in order to purchase from you, especially if we're talking about big offers, especially if we're talking about one-on-one, anything in the healing space. If we're talking about masterminds, retreats, like nobody's going to go to a retreat with somebody that they don't trust, with somebody that they don't have a relationship with someone that they can't connect with, right? For the healing space, this is really important as well. I work with a lot of spiritual people. I work with a lot of healers. And the reality is like, that's very personal, right? Same thing if you're in like relationship coaching and potentially health coaching. These are things that are very personal. So I have to trust you, right? And how am I going to trust you if I don't have a relationship or a connection to you? So your method is how you are selling. There's multiple different ways to sell. Again, they all work. They all work. I wouldn't recommend doing them all, at least not at one time, but they all do work. You have to find what works for you. So you could do sales calls. You can have DM conversations if you don't like doing sales calls, email marketing, which is one of my favorites, in person. So maybe you're just more of a networker, or maybe once you get in front of somebody and you have a conversation with someone, it's easy for you to sell. You can have a sales team if you want to go that route and, just pump in a lot of prospects and into your pipeline and then just have somebody else do the sales calls. That's one way that people sell. You could just be sending people to a sales page. So having really good marketing, right? So making sure that your medium is in alignment and your marketing is really doing, like I said, the heavy lifting. So by the time they get to the sales page is just confirming for them. The sales page is just giving them the vital details that they might need in order to make a purchase. And sometimes the sales page is just the checkout, right? So they already sold in your marketing. That would be the key. That would be the goal, that they're already sold by the time they get to the sales page. So really they're just scrolling down and they're putting in their info and they are, finding out how much it is, seeing when the calls are, finding out the Q&As, and then they're in. Google Doc, similar to a sales page, just not as fancy, but it has all of the details that one would need to make a decision. So this I like to do for things that are not my signature program. So if I am doing a beta, if I have something new that is coming out that I may or may not run more than once, I will probably just do a Google Doc because again, I know that my marketing does the heavy lifting. So by the time they get to that Google Doc, they're really just looking to get clarity and get information that they need to make a decision. And then personal outreach. So if you have, some people do have their marketing based in referral. I think that that's a little old school. I feel like your business will probably go out of business if that's all you're relying on. Obviously, they're great, but it shouldn't be your only marketing method. So personal outreach, going, and I'm not talking about cold calling. I'm not talking about cold DMing. I'm not talking about doing any of that spammy weird stuff, but like literally connecting with people that you are associated with, let's say in a group, in a course, maybe somebody that you went to a mastermind or an event, or somebody you met at an event, and really just creating those personal connections. And then, that leading to sales. So far we've talked about the muse, the medium, the method. Now we're going to talk about the moment. So this is another really important one because we want to make sure that the way that we are promoting, the way that we are selling, the way that we are showing up online actually supports the vision that we have for our business. So let's say, for example, you want a lot of free time, right? Then you're probably not going to want to book your sales call calendar with 30 calls a week. That's going to be out of alignment, right? Because then basically what you're doing is you're chaining yourself to the desk, to the phone, and you're not enjoying that freedom that you have. So look at all of these things with how they are in alignment to how you want to run your business. How many hours do you want to have? Do you want to take months off in the summer or, for holidays? Do you want to launch every month? Some people really like that. Or do you want to launch twice a year? I have clients that have kind of evergreen stuff going in the background and they just do a big launch twice a year. Do you want to launch quarterly? So really look at the timeline of your promotions. Do you want to have a week off at the end of every month? I would have, actually my coach would take at least 3 days off every month around her cycle. And it was just known, even if there was calls booked, if she got her cycle, she would take that time for herself. And that was just something that we knew. And something that was a staple for her and a boundary that she created in her business. I had another client who was taking off every 5th week. So she would do 4 weeks and then take a full week off, do 4 weeks and do a full week off. So really look at this, because if you're just working, and you are not giving yourself space to rejuvenate, if you are not giving your space yourself space for fun and life and creativity, then your business is going to start to just feel really difficult. It's going to feel really heavy. It's going to feel, you're going to start to build resentment. It's not going to feel good anymore. So just figure out for you, based on your bandwidth, based on your team, based on the vision that you have for your business, what is the timeline for your promotions, sales, and launches? All right, so I'm going to go now into a bonus training on my method called the Hustler and the Vibe. This is something that it kind of goes perfectly with what I was just saying with your timeline, right? So there are moments where you have to do the work. There are moments where you have to show up. There are moments where you have to chill and lay back, and really creating the harmony between when you're in hustle mode, when you're in grind mode, when you're working, when you are maybe in a little bit of a masculine energy, and when you're like, you know what, I'm chill, I'm laid back, I am receiving, I am chilling right now. And I feel like there needs to be a harmony here. This, again, is something that's going to look different for every person. Hustle, hustle, hustle 24/7 is not sustainable. And chill, laid back, not doing anything is also not going to bring the money in. Like, it's just not. As many times as I hear people say that, like, it just doesn't work. Like, I would love to see their P&Ls. I would love to see how much money those people that just say sit back and receive and don't do anything, how much money they're actually making in their business. So what's important to know here is there are times where you need to go hard and you need to grind and you need to be in that quote unquote hustle mode. And there are times where you just lean on who you are, lean on your vibe, lean on your energy. And sometimes that even happens within the same launch. Sometimes that even happens within the same week, where you are, checking off boxes and doing the things that you quote unquote have to do. And then you dive into like, okay, now I'm in rest mode. I've done everything, everything's set up, everything's scheduled. My team is on board. Now I can relax and chill and go do me. All right. So the hustler is the outer work. It's the strategy. It's how you show up. It's your client attraction. It's the implementation of everything we talked about in the 4M method. So it's all the doing things, right? It's the, how do I do this thing? The to-do list that you have every day, the boxes that you need to check off, the things that you outwardly have to do in order to sustain your business. The vibe is your inner work. It's your intuition, it's your embodiment, it's your energetics, it's your essence, it's your frequency. It is really all of the things that you are being. So for me, the hustler is the do, the vibe is the be. And we want to, again, have that harmony between those two things. And you're really only going to figure that out once you start paying attention to it. And you're just like, there are certain times of the week or certain times of the day or certain times of the month where I'm really productive and I'm just like in go mode and I get so much shit done. And then there may be certain times of the day, week, or month where you're like, I don't want to do anything at all. Like, I just want to chill, or I want to spend time with my family, or I want to take naps, or, I want to go to the spa. I want to do some self-care. And knowing when and how to put those things together will really help with the embodiment of just being an entrepreneur, right? Because we can't just work 24/7. We can't just always be in the do, or else we're going to burn ourselves out and it's just not going to feel good anymore. So harmony between the hustler, which is the outer work, strategy, how you show up, client attraction, marketing, sales, implementation of the 4M that we just went through. And the vibe is your inner work, intuition, embodiment, energetics, essence, and frequency. So here's how we integrate the hustler and the vibe. I have a little typo there. So number one, we want to define clearly your financial and client goals, your business model, your offers, your pricing, and your enrollment style. So this is the hustler, right? So it's like putting all the pieces together. It's like making sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, that you have a specific system, formula, or structure in your business that can support the vision that you have. Step two is deploying the 4M marketing method to sell in a way that feels aligned to your strengths. So again, it's more of an awareness at this point of like, what am I doing and what am I choosing for myself and for my business versus I'm just rolling with the punches versus I'm just going with the flow versus I'm just going to do what that person over there is doing because that seems to work. So really understanding, how you want to show up. That was the muse, your marketing method, your sales strategy, and then the timeline in which you're going to do it. And then part 3 is to embody your unique essence, manage your energy. So again, with that timeline, bringing that in, like, okay, what do I want my business to look like? How many hours a day do I want to work? Do I want to take time off? Like, what does that actually look like? And then pulling all of these things together. We want to manage our energy and master your mindset so that business feels effortless. And when we have both of these pieces and they're both working in alignment, your business will feel so much better. Your business will just feel like this is just an extension of me. Like, this is pretty awesome. Like, it's not like, oh, I have to go to work, or, oh, I got to send an email, or, oh, I got to get on a call. Like, we don't want to feel that way in our business. Otherwise, you might as well just go get a job, right? So really integrating both of these things together is what's going to lead to, number one, sustainability in your business and just consistency of you showing up and then you getting clients because of how you show up. All right, so we are going to the last piece, which is your success formula. Again, just bringing these 3 things together, your business model, including upgrading your offers. So you may have to look at your offers and see, is this in alignment with the 4M? Is this in alignment with what I say that I want? Is this in alignment with, the vision that I have for my business? So let's say, for example, like you have only private offers, all one-on-one offers, or there's some sort of like one-on-one element to all of your offers, but you want more time, you want more freedom, you just want to work a couple hours a day. But the business model or the offers don't support that because you literally have 10 clients that you are supporting every single week. And not only are you on phone calls with them, but you're also on Voxer with them. You're also holding space for them in between. So it's a lot. So just make sure that your business model and your offers are supporting your 4M alignment to ensure that you can have those 10 to 20K months on repeat. The second piece of the success formula is your feel-good marketing strategy. So again, we talked about how each one of us is different. Each one of us has our own unique strengths, our own unique flow. There's different things. Some people are really, really great on video. Some people are really, really good at writing. The person that's good on video might not be good at writing. The person who's great at writing might suck on video or hate video. So really got to find your flow, like what works for me, what feels good for me, and develop a unique to you custom plan to hit whatever goal that you set. It is really important for us to do the strategy. So again, as much as I believe in the being and believe in the vibe piece of the hustler and the vibe, we do need the strategy. Like, you do not have a business without a strategy. I have a client right now that's looking to get a loan. And what are they asking for? For a business loan, they want a business plan. What is a business plan? The business plan is your strategy to make income, to make profit. So I know that this is sometimes hard for people to wrap their heads around, especially in the spiritual space, but it is so important for you to have a plan, to have a strategy, to know where you're going. You wouldn't just get in the car and, want to take a cross-country trip without putting something in the GPS. You're going to put something in the GPS, right? You're not just going to drive around aimlessly, wondering where the heck you're going, being like, well, this feels peaceful and, I got some good tunes on and I'm just going to drive. Like, no, we're not doing that. You get to enjoy that piece and you get to enjoy those tunes after you put in to the GPS exactly where you're going, right? And then number 3 of the success formula is your mindset, your energy, and your magnetism. Again, this is the vibe piece. This is the being piece. This is creating a business that not only is fulfilling, but that feels good from the inside out. I've seen so many people over the years just create something that they hate, that they create another job for themselves. They don't like their business. They have resentment for their clients. They, built a list of people who they don't even like and they don't even want to serve, and worse, they just have completely burnt out from all of this. And they're just tired and they want to quit their job. So I don't want that to be, I said their job, but they want to quit their business. Like, I don't want that to be you. So it really is that yin and the yang and that harmony between what you're doing, the strategy that you have laid out, and then how do we incorporate like our being and who we are within that. For me, that's the true embodiment of being an entrepreneur and having a sustainable business that lasts 10 years, 20 years, however long your business is going to last. So that is it. Good. It was less than 45 minutes. That's awesome. Really hope you got a lot out of this. Really take notes. Go back, watch it again, take some notes. Really look at like, where's the alignment here? Where am I out of alignment? What feels good? What doesn't feel good? Who do I want to emulate? What's the strategy that I'm going to take to get there? And really start to put these pieces together for yourself. If you want support in doing that, I am working with people in a various degree of ways. I have some group things going on. I have some personalized one-on-one coaching, single session calls. I have Voxer coaching. So if you want support in creating that plan and creating that yin and that yang with the doing and the being in your marketing, and really streamlining what you're going to be doing, not just for this quarter, but for next year as well, and having a really solid plan that you can follow through on, that you can integrate, that you can really just say, you know what, like this feels good. And when things feel good and when you have a structure, it makes everything else in your business easier. So even if things don't go your way completely, you know that you have a plan and a structure and something that you're going to fall back onto. So I hope you enjoyed these mini masterclass. And again, if you have any questions, pop them in the comments and I will make sure to answer all of the questions that you have. Have an amazing day and I will see you soon. Bye.